Hi, and welcome to Positive Psychology. Positive psychology is a new field of psychology, and as such, I think it's important that I give you a bit of a heads up about what is positive psychology and its value, key beliefs that may help you get a grasp on this subject and the direction of what this course will take. Now I'm going to offer you some perspectives from authors who were involved in building up this field of positive psychology. Some of that's going to come from your textbook, and some will be things that I'll be adding. One of them is Philip Watkins. He's of Eastern Washington State University, and he's been very influential in the field of positive psychology, and in particular, in the area of gratitude. Now, I'm going to summarize some of Watkins' perspectives on key and important takeaways, or themes, if you will, and most notable is happiness matters. Now, I don't usually make New Year's resolutions myself unless I see something in my life that really needs to change. Recently, I did think that there was something that I could use, some modification, I guess. I had noticed that as I was getting older, I'm 67, I think it is, 67, and I noticed that as I was getting older, that I started to get a little grumpier. And so I thought, what about a New Year's resolution about being less grumpy? Now, hear what I said. Being less grumpy. Now, when you think about it, what do you do to be less grumpy? It's not immediately clear as to what I would need to do to decrease my grumpiness, but here's where my background in psychology, positive psychology, and goal-setting experience that helps remind me that my goal was an avoidance goal. And as such, it's not likely to be very successful. To quit smoking, to do things to avoid things that you're doing are avoidance. And they're not usually very successful. Therefore, how could I change my less grumpy resolution to a more positive, approach-oriented goal rather than avoidance-oriented goal? So I thought, what about joyful play? Wouldn't authentic play be the perfect antidote to the age-old problem of grumpiness? Now, as such, my resolution would become one of play. Play more. Play more with friends, play more with family, play more even with spirituality. I believe this example is a good illustration of the perspective of positive psychology has to offer us. Rather than being less grumpy, positive psychologists might recommend for us to engage in more joyful play. Now, I'm going to summarize some of Watkins' themes about positive psychology and happiness matters themes, and they include happiness matters, science matters, needs matter. How you think matters. Meaning, and this is also about purpose, but meaning matters. Character matters. Future matters. Gratitude matters. Self-acceptance matters. Others matter. Engagement matters. Negative emotions matter. And happiness, intelligence matters. Now, happiness matters. If there's one message to get of this course, it's the overreaching belief that happiness does matter. Now, happiness is not the nice little consequence of a successful life. Not entirely. Research shows that there are a number of beneficial byproducts of experiencing positive emotions frequently. Better relationships, better health, better occupational success, just to name a few. Now, it's important to note, we cannot force happiness or obsessively pursue or feel entitled to happiness. Pursuing happiness at all costs are really not very realistic, and paradoxically, you may end up being a lot more unhappy. So let's start with science matters. Science matters as a field. Positive psychology also is a science. It's not to say that science is the only knowledge base that has anything to contribute to our understanding of the good life. However, if we keep science at the heart of positive psychology movement, then we also reduce the non-data driven beliefs. Now, these can be misleading for people to follow, as there's little or no evidence for the direction. In science, it is more important to do what is right than to influence results to prove yourself right. So in spite of one's passion for positive psychology, there is also a need to be passionate, for the truth must remain paramount. Needs matter. When it comes to comprehending the causes of happiness, one's genuine human needs matter. When your needs are satisfied, then you'll probably feel satisfied in life. Now, this is an important principle when explaining happiness. You can no doubt see that when our biological needs are met, we tend to be happy. Since most of us have enough financial resources to provide for our basic biological needs, the importance of fulfilling our psychological needs become paramount. Now, this may sound fairly straightforward until we begin to discuss our psychological needs really are. Researchers argue, and we have three, we call them basic psychological needs that must be fulfilled in order to feel satisfied in life. The first is competence. Competence is a sense of being in control of the significant outcomes in our own lives, and mastery over critical tasks in our lives. Secondly is autonomous. Autonomy is the feeling that we are doing in life is self-determined. We choose the course of our life. And then three, relatedness or belonging. This is a fundamental and universal human need. Happiness is connected to belonging and relatedness. How you think matters. Why is it that our external circumstances end up explaining very little about our happiness? More than likely, it's because it's not circumstances, but how you think about your circumstances that really matter when it comes to our happiness. Happy people are inclined to attend the good in their lives, and they have a tendency to make positive interpretations of the various situations in their lives and easily recall pleasing experiences from their past. This way, happy people are open to seeing the good in their lives. Happy people are not narrow in their views of what makes their lives good. They are creative enough thinkers to see many consequences as being good, not just one, even though they may not have expected the result. This can, for many, result in an upward spiral of happiness for people and make use in their lives with that upward spiral. Meaning matters. Meaning, or as in some cases, it's purpose. The short of this is that the good life is a meaningful life. We will be looking at how happy people are able to find purpose and meaning in their lives. One big way for our lives to be more purpose-driven is by being more goal-oriented. But even here, the aim that seems to be most conducive to our happiness are aims that are meaningful to us. Therefore, intrinsic goals, those are the ones that come from within that we govern, intrinsic goals that are relevant to our fundamental psychological needs, promote our subjective well-being. Character matters. Now, in Chapter 2 of this course, we're going to explore an important pillar of positive psychology, and that's the study of the psychological strengths and virtues. The positive psychology movement has identified 6 virtues essential to good life. They include wisdom, courage, humanity, justice, temperance, and transcendence. Now, although these virtues vary somewhat in their relationship to a subjective well-being, to know your own character strengths and virtues are not enough. Using your strength is critical to enhancing your happiness. So I hope you're seeing that some of this is very teachable and very learnable. The future matters. How you think about the future matters to your happiness. Generally, people who feel the future looks bright, who have hope, who have positive goals tend to be happy. Chances are that your feeling of the future, your feelings about the future, are closely related to your feelings about locus of control. If you believe you have control, if you believe you have control of the significant outcomes in your life, the internal locus of control, then you probably are going to feel pretty good about your future. This can produce both hope and optimism. If, however, and I hope this is not you, you believe that what happens to you is merely a consequence of luck or fate, you'll probably be uncertain about your future. Gratitude matters. Why do people feel good about their future? More than likely, it's because they feel pretty good about their past. And it's here where gratitude matters to happiness. Grateful people tend to be happy people, and gratitude treatments have been some of the most successful interventions for improving people's happiness. So why is gratitude so important to our happiness? Well, the research supports the theory that gratitude amplifies the good life. Gratitude tells us very loudly and very clearly who and what are good in our lives. It's easy to let the bad of our lives, the bad in our lives, to drown out the good. However, gratitude helps amplify the good, and in so doing improves our happiness. Self-acceptance matters. One thing you will see throughout this course is that when you are satisfied with yourself, you are very likely to be satisfied with your life. People with high but unstable self-esteem are not particularly happy. Moreover, self-compassion is more strongly associated with happiness than self-esteem. It's for these reasons that self-acceptance, acknowledging and accepting who you really are, is an important to enduring happiness. It's far more important to enduring happiness than self-esteem. It's not just feeling good about yourself, but it's accepting yourself that really matters to happiness. One consistent characteristic of unhappy people is that they tend to be preoccupied with themselves, whereas happy people seem to be somewhat more self-forgetful. They don't remember all the bad, but they do remember the good. So here's where a healthy humility can help us accept ourselves and become less preoccupied. Indeed, humble people are more concerned with the needs of others than with their own needs. This brings us to one of the most important matters of happiness. Others matter. Aristotle was correct. We are social animals, and time and again studies show that rewarding relationships are vital to happiness. Now, although the research indicates that our relationships matter for our happiness, it appears it is more about the quality than the quantity of social life that counts. It's not how many friends you have, it's the quality of those friends that you have that are in your life. Happy people think more about others in more positive manners, which probably enhances the equity in their relationships. And this, in turn, heightens their happiness. In short, the quality of our relationships matter to our happiness. Happy people don't just have relationships, they engage in their relationships. And that moves us to the next. Engagement matters. Happy people are included to be more active in their work and in their play. Even in their leisure hours, happy people have a tendency to choose active rather than passive leisure activities. Engage in dancing, running, rather than watching them on TV. We will review a theory by, now I will apologize now, and I apologized in the video where I mentioned her name, Sonia Lubromsky. Now, she posits, and she has a great theory, and I'm fully subscribed to it, but she posits that 50% of our happiness is genetic. It's based on a set point, and that will be further explained. 10% is due to circumstances. Now, circumstances can include weather, other people, traffic, and things like that, things outside of your control. Then the last 40% is our own intentional activities, the choices that we make that contribute to our happiness. 40% is in our control. Happy people, when they engage in something, they are committed to it and are actively involved in it, cognitively, behaviorally, and emotionally. Either you are simply going through life, or you're fully engaged in experiencing it. Next is the negative emotions matter. Now, that might sound a little odd. Let's now look at how negative emotions matter to the good life. Positive emotions have a purpose in the good life. Negative emotions do as well. In order to flourish, it's very important to experience and not avoid unpleasant emotions in our lives. The more we attempt to suppress bad emotions, paradoxically, end up dwelling on those unpleasant thoughts. Accepting our negative emotion frees us from having a good time all the time. Even negative emotions matter to our happiness, and when you accept them, and use them to help you live well. Now, this last, or I think it's the last one, happiness intelligence matters. Now, we will be exploring in this class emotional intelligence. Happiness intelligence is about having happiness, or at least about having accurate knowledge about happiness and being able to see and use the knowledge effectively in your life. So happiness intelligence isn't a lot different in some respects than emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is managing your emotions in a way that effectively helps you and doesn't hurt other people. Happiness intelligence is about knowing what exactly is and isn't happiness more accurately. People low in happiness intelligence might believe that if they get a new house or move to a new city or get a new job, that they would be finally happy. Those with high happiness intelligence, on the other hand, they might recognize that getting a new high-paying job might not make them happier. It might take away from some of their relationships or their leisure life. Well, finally, I'm going to state the obvious, that positive psychology is about happiness matters. Your desire to pursue happiness is not ill-founded. It's not foolish or bound to backfire. No. In fact, research does suggest that there are many desirable consequences from having an enduring sense that life is good. Another critical point to make is you can change your happiness. And this is where I was saying it's teachable and learnable. Studies consistently show that there are positive activities that you can participate in that can boost your subjective well-being. And I will be pointing them out in your text and asking you to try these out on your own time. It is important to know a change in your lifestyle that might be required to enhance your happiness is not likely to be easy. However, it will be well worth the effort. And my hope is that you will choose to begin your journey in the pursuit of happiness and the good life. I hope this course interests you and that you will be a little... I hope this course interests you and that you will, by a little bit of participation on your part, make a difference in your own here and now, and perhaps find purpose that will lead you to a future that you can live in happiness. I hope you enjoy this course, and I hope this little intro helps you get a handle on what this course would be about. All right? Good luck, everybody, and we'll see you in the rest of the semester. Bye now.